I added the screenshot of the homepage of starbucks.com and I cropped it using the Command plus Alt plus Shift plus S shortcut. In the widget properties and style pane, we will be able to make the image more transparent by setting the opacity to 60%. We are doing this so that all the widgets that will be added later will be more visible on the canvas. Name the widget Starbucks, as you will do with all the shapes that you add. It is very important to remember to name the widgets that you drag onto the canvas, so that after your prototype will become more complex, you can search them by name and add interactions to them much easier. Lock the widget in place so that it doesn't move when I drag other widgets on the canvas. You will see that the widgets that are locked in place are marked with a red border, suggesting that they are fixed. Now create a 947 pixels wide and 116 pixels high rectangle and name it Header. We will use the toolbar on top to set the dimensions, but these can be also set from the widget properties and style pane. Set the line width to none, action that will basically remove the border. Instead of line width, we might have chosen line pattern and set it to none, but that would just hide the border and the pixels would still be there. Set the opacity to 80% so that we can make a difference between our widgets and the actual image. Drag an image and add the website's logo. After you will click Open, you will be prompted with a message that asks you whether you want to auto-size the image. If you click No, the image will be scaled down to the widget's default size, which is smaller than what we need, so we will choose to auto-size the image to its normal size. Now rename the image to Logo and position it to 3 on the X-axis and 14 on the Y-axis. Now zoom in a little bit and add a label named Coffee. Check the website to see the label's CSS properties, font family and size. Set the font size to 22 pixels from the toolbar on top. You can select from the list of options, and you can also type into the field if you do not find the exact font size that you want to use. Change the font to Corbel. It should be present in the list. Change the color to 2A8A15. This is the hex code. Keep in mind that if you manually enter the hex code, you will have to keep the mouse cursor outside of the color palette area, otherwise, just by hovering over the colors, the hex code will change. Position the font on 118 on the X-axis and 51 on the Y-axis. Now zoom out a little bit, select the widget again, and right-click it, select Interaction Styles, and change the mouse over interaction style to the color 71B43A. We could do it like this, but we shouldn't use more widgets when we can use only one. For example, here we deal with the navigation, and if we check the website, we will see that we are dealing with a rectangle and the label. The label has a different normal state color and also a different mouse over color, and it's clear that we will need two widgets. Delete the label and add the rectangle 129 pixels wide and 75 pixels tall. Also add copy to it. We added the label to the rectangle on two rows: coffee, beans, blends and brewing. In the widget properties and style pane, we change the alignment to the left, change the padding on the text to the top left corner by 10 and 12, In the toolbar, we change the font size to 22 pixels and the color to the specific green. As you can see, I am switching between the toolbar and the widget properties and style pane to apply these basic styles. We also change the mouse over interaction style to set a fill color of black. As you can see, it is not the right solution as the tagline for the button has its own mouse over effect. The color turns white. This means that we need another widget, a label for it, just as I said a little bit earlier. Set the line width to none, as you can see in the preview that we had an ugly border around the element. So, drag the beans, blends and brewing label and position it accordingly. Set a font size of 11 pixels. To position it well, you will use the guides, dragging from the ruler like in Photoshop. On the rectangle, we will set a new mouse over effect style, the font color to 71B43A. We will use for mouse over and selected interaction style the color white. What we need to do now is use the interactions pane for the first time and add interactions for the onMouseEnter event and onMouseOut event to get the label changed when we hover over the rectangle widget. The action that we will choose in order that the label could change is state on onMouseEnter is set selected to true, and onMouseOut interaction will need the set selected to false in order to reset back to the default when the mouse leaves the area. Let's preview it. Now we just need to repeat these steps for the next 5 navigation items by duplicating the first and changing the labeling, shape names, and modifying the interactions for the mouse enter and mouse out events. But for the sake of time saving, I will do this quickly. There are several ways in which you can create interactions, but as we saw earlier, we clearly need to know straight from the start the desired outcome. So here is how you can create a simple horizontal navigation using basic interaction events. But as you can see on the Starbucks website, this navigation has a specific behavior, showing also a secondary menu on mouse enter. So in the next video, I will move on to creating that one by using some other cool features of Axure RP.